Okay, start again. Hello and welcome. We are going over chapter 2 questions before the test for Math 76. So let's take a look. Number 3. Okay, this one says the expression for ordering test tubes for a chemistry lab is 4C plus 10, where C is the class size. Evaluate the expression when the class limit is 24. So I am going to plug in 24 for C. So I get 4 times C plus 10, and I'm going to replace C with 24. So I get 4 times 24 plus 10. 4 times 24 is, let's think, 96 plus 10. 96 plus 10 is 106. That's our answer for this one. Number 2, this is easier than it sounds. Rewrite without exponents. We're just going to expand. So it's expanded form. X squared is x times x. Y to the fourth is y times y times y times y. Number 2, same. We're going to expand. So 5 times a times b times b times b, because b to the third. Simplify, I'm going to combine any like terms I have. I've got an AB and an AB. And there's a secret hidden 1 right there in front of this AB. So I'm going to combine those, and I get 1 plus 2, so that gives me 3AB plus my AB squared. And when I'm doing Pearson's, we're going to make sure that we put the highest exponent first. So I have AB squared plus 3AB. For simplify, I'm looking for like terms again. I have x and I've got x over here. I've got x's and x's. And remember that minus x is -1. Okay, I'm going to ask myself, what's negative 3x minus 1x? That gives me negative 4x plus 2y minus 7. My y and my 7 don't have any terms to combine with. And notice this says simplify, not solve, so I don't have an equal sign in there. I'm not solving anything. I got another evaluate. Evaluate means I plug in. Everywhere I see n, I'm going to replace it with -3. So I have -3 cubed, all of that negative. So I get -3 times -3 times -3. Or if you're putting your calculator, just make sure you put those parentheses around the -3. And I get negative, 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 3 negatives. That's an odd number of negatives. So that's our odd one out at a nerd party. So that's a negative experience. And 3 times 3 times 3 is -27. Okay, let's take a look at number 6. Evaluate the expression when m is 2 and n is -3. I'm going to replace again. I get 5 times 2 squared times -3 squared. Okay, notice everything is in those parentheses. So let's simplify. I've got 5 times 2 times 2, 4. And then I've got a negative times a negative. That's going to give me a positive. So +9. So I'm going to multiply that out. So I get 20 times 9 equals 180. Bellevue College always orders 12 more graduation caps for the graduating ceremony. The college ordered 218 caps for this year. Solve the equation G plus 12 equals 218. This will give you the number of G graduates. Solve this equation. Okay, I have G plus 12 equals 218, and I need to solve this. So remember, in equations like a child, I've got to do the same thing to both sides. I want to get G all by itself. Right now it's G plus 12. So I want to do the opposite of adding 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Those cancel, and I get G equals 218 minus 12 gives me 206. And then I'm going to make sure that I have units on this because it's a word problem. What does G stand for? What is my variable? Graduates. 206 graduates. Okay. Oh, this is written on 2 lines on mine. It should say 16 plus n equals 5. Okay. I want to get n all by itself. I've got that 16 on the end. I ask myself, is this adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? It's being added to n. So I'm going to do the opposite of adding. So I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. 16 minus 16, that goes away. And I get n equals 5 minus 16. 5 minus 16 gives me negative 11. If you're having trouble with the mental math, you can use your calculator. If you don't have a calculator, you can get one on Amazon for like $10, or you can borrow one from L200. Okay, then it tells me I should check it. So I am going to check this. My original equation was 16 plus n equals 5. So I'm going to plug in negative 11. 16 minus 11 equals 5. Well, that's poorly written. I'm going to undo that. Equals 5. There we go. 11 minus 5. Sorry. 16 minus 11 gives me 5. 5 equals 5. That, in fact, is true. You got it. Okay. Okay, let's look at number 9. The first thing I always want to do when I have these types of expressions is see if there's any like terms I can combine. And I do see some like terms over here. I've got 7 minus 5. So I have x plus 8 equals 7 minus 5. Get 2. And now I want to get x all by itself. So I want to do the opposite of adding 5. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And I get x equals 2 minus 8, which gives me negative 6. And if I want, I can plug it in. Highly recommend we check it on the exam. So negative 6 minus 8 equals 7 minus, there's a plus there. Negative 6 plus 8 equals 7 minus 5. Copy and error, got to check those because that's where we make those silly mistakes. Negative 6 plus 8 gives me positive 2. 7 minus 5 gives me 2. Those are equal to each other. We got it. Number 10. Okay, ask ourselves first, are there any like terms? I do see like terms. I'm going to combine those. So I get 4 plus 3x, 4, whoa, start again. 4 plus 4x minus 3, which gives me plus x equals 8. Now I want to get x all by itself, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I get x equals 8 minus 4, which gives me 4. Okay, and then we can check it by plugging it back into our original equation. I have 4 plus 4x minus 3x equals 8. And I'm going to plug 4 back in and check and make sure that that's right. 4 plus 4 times 4 minus 3 times 4 equals 8. Let's see if this is true. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 4 is 12, and I've got my negative sign up front, equals 8. Let's see. So I get 4 plus 16. 20 minus 12 equals 8. Is that true? 20 minus 12 is, in fact, equal to 8. We got it. True. On the previous ones we did, we were subtracting. And this one, I see that there's something in front of my m that's not adding or subtracting. It is a multiply. So I want to do the opposite of multiplying. So I'm going to do the same thing to both sides. And I am going to divide both sides by negative 6. So I get my negative 6's cancel. And I'm left with m equals 48 over negative 6. And you can use your calculator, you can use your mental math. I've got a positive and a negative. So they've got one nerd that's all by themselves at the party. That is very negative for them. So it's a negative answer. And 48 over 6 is 8. M equals negative 8. Let's solve this one. Okay, I look for like terms. I've got like terms over here on the left half of my equation. K minus 5k. So that gives me negative 4k equals negative 40. And now I'm going to ask myself, what should I do to both sides? Negative 4k. That's being multiplied by k. So I want to do the opposite of that. The opposite of multiplying is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. I get k is equal to negative 40 over negative 4. That's going to give me a positive answer. 40 over 4 gives me 10. Okay. Number 13, solve. I've got w's on both sides of my equations, and I've got adding constants on both sides of the equations. I want to get my variables on one side and my constants on the other. This is really combining like terms on both sides of the equation. So I'm going to start with my variable. I want to move my variable so I end up with a positive number, not a negative one if I can avoid it. So I am going to subtract 8w from both sides. W cancels over here. 12w minus 8w gives me 4w minus 4 equals 12. And now I want to get w all by itself. Now I've got a multiply and a subtraction. Before I can do anything with that 4w, I need to get rid of that subtracting 4. I need to add 4 to both sides. So I get 4w equals 12 plus 4, which is 16. Now I look at this and I say, I've got 4w equals 16. How do I get rid of that 4? I'm going to say 4 is multiplied by w, so I want to do the opposite of that, which is division. So I get w equals 16 over 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay, number 14. I have variables on one side, numbers on the other. So I already have it separated, but so I can go ahead and combine like terms. I'm going to look at the left half of my equation. 2m minus 7m. So it's going to give me what? Is it going to be positive or negative? It's going to give me negative 5. Ooh, 5 seem hard to write on the iPad. Minus 5m equals 5 minus 20. 5 minus 20 also going to be negative. Negative 15. And now I want to get m all by itself. So I am going to ask myself, what function is happening here? 5 is being multiplied by m. So I want to do the opposite of that. So I am going to divide both sides by negative 5. So I divide by negative 5. And my negative 5's cancel over here. And I get m equals negative 15 divided by negative 5. Negative divided by a negative is positive. So I get 15 over 5, which is 3. Okay, number 15. This one is very intimidating. Deep breath. We got this. Ask yourself, what are we going to do here? First things first is I need to get rid of those parentheses. So I really need to follow PEMDAS, right? And figure out what things I can, if there are any like terms I can combine. But to do that, I've got to distribute these 3's and do my multiplies before I can do any adding or subtracting. So I've got 3 times 2, 6n, then 3 times negative 1. So my negative stays. 3 times negative 1 gives me negative 3 equals 3 times n, 3n, and then plus 3 times 3, which is 9. Now I'm going to ask myself, I've got this equation set up. I want to get n's on one side and numbers on the other. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to take my n and move it over to one side. Which side should I move to the left or to the right? I want to move it so that I have positive n when possible. So I'm going to subtract 3n from both sides. I get 6n minus 3n equals 3n minus 3. Numbers on the side of the equation. 3. But I get rid of the 3 before I can deal with the 3 in front of the n. Those 3's cancel. I get 3n equals 9 plus 3, which is 12. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3's cancel, and I get n equals 12 over 3, which is 4. Okay, let's plug this one in. Let's double check because this one is complicated. Okay, let's check this one. All right, let's take our original equation. 3 times 2n minus 1 equals 3 times n plus 3. Everywhere I see n, I'm going to replace it with 4. So I have 3 times 2 minus 1 equals 3 times 4 plus 3. So I just replaced n with 4 because that was my answer. And let's see what I get. Okay, let's simplify inside our parentheses first. So I've got 2 times 4, 8 minus 1 equals 3. Let's simplify inside these parentheses. 4 plus 3 is 7. 3 times 8 minus 1. 3 times 7. Is that equal to 3 times 7, which also is 21? Those, in fact, are equal to each other, and it all works out. Okay, these answers are also posted in Canvas. And if you have any questions, ask me before the test tomorrow. Good luck.